So wonderful. Ah, bread slicer, or probably rather a sausage slicer, because a bread slicer would have a serrated blade, and this is a plain blade. This is not the kind of thing that I would usually do, because I'm not very interested in restoring stuff that I do not plan to use myself, or that I wouldn't use myself, and I wouldn't use a bread slicer. But my brother was here recently with his family, with his daughters, and I like my nieces very much. And when they wanted to go to a flea market, I went with them to a flea market.
Oh, so this is a vintage find.
Yes, they are not particularly rare. They are at eBay for about 30 euros, which is what I have paid. Only the ones you get at eBay are usually complete, and here's a part missing, because here's usually a clamp on a swivel mount, so you can fix this to a table.
Do you happen to know the year of this?
Oh, I think they are still being built actually, but this is probably from the 50s.
Oh, wow.
Or similar models at least. So yeah, and I mean, when you go to a flea market with your nieces, then you have to buy something stupid. That's basically the law. So what I want to do is to get this off this board. I will throw this board away because it's old and ugly, and it's old and everything. And I do not want, if I ever want to use this to slice anything, I do not want my food to sit on a 50-year-old board. So.
Yeah, that's probably wise.
Also, I do not want to cut off my fingers, but this might happen in a moment. So stay tuned. Okay, so I'm first going to take the blade out. Wow. This is amazingly heavy. This is the gear, because you. This is where you crank the lever, and this is the transmission. You can still buy these blades, and I will, I think, try to find one that's suitable for that. With doggy, that's not the greatest idea in the world. What I'm going to do today is to remove everything that has paint on it, and then cover it in paint remover and let it sit for a day, because.
Oh, so you're going to give it a fresh coat of paint?
Yes. If I'm doing anything at all, then.
What colour are you going to choose?
I'm trying to match the original colors if I can.
So like a vanilla.
Yeah, vanilla, and originally this edge and the letters and stuff were painted red.
Oh, what does letters say?
This is Lauter Jung in Solingen. This is the company that built the things. So this is Solingen is where the good blades come from. Used to be. Everything is getting worse all of the time.
Yeah, well, yeah, it'll be a plastic blade shortly.
Well, what's the dog doing there?
Not sure. Balka? You think you'll be okay?
Luke is very hungry.
Yeah.
Yes, we had.
She is expecting some sausages to be sliced.
She's expecting some food because we didn't have a favorite food, so I bought something in the supermarket and she refused to eat it. And it was so gross that I threw it away. And the new food has only now arrived. So she will get dinner when we get dinner. And in the meantime, she will have to be hungry.
Yeah, well.
And she's not accustomed to that. She doesn't like it. I might have to replace a few screws because I think when these are out, then the screw heads will be.
These are really ancient.
I will, like I said, I will throw out the wood, and I'm not really great at woodworking, so I'll probably just buy a wooden kitchen board.
So the board folds in two, right? Is that to
Yes.
to fit it onto to put it away, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying a bread slicer would have a serrated blade, right?
Yes. So this is probably more for cheese or sausage or something. And like I said, you still can buy these things on eBay, and usually they are in better shape than this one. So I totally overpaid, but you know,
How much did you pay for it?
30 euros.
30 euros.
For 30 euros you can.
Did you haggle?
No,
No.
that's I'm not.
No, I too don't like to do that.
My, if you think I'm bad at haggling, I'm even worse as a seller. So I used to help a friend who was a professional flea market vendor. And he let me do everything except the selling because I was constantly being outsmarted by my clients.
Yeah, well.
Actually, when I say friend, he was a teacher at a boarding school. A few side hustles.
And today you're going to be coating the slicer in this.
Yes, it's paint remover.
Paint
I will get back to this in a minute because now I'm frustrated. That's one reason I'm not really good at restoration work. Because I'm interested in getting stuff to work that I would use. But I do not have the patience for restoration as art for the sake of art project. I mean, I don't think many restoration channels in YouTube are actually very interested in the stuff they make. It's more videos other products.
Yeah.
Well, it's fine with me, but I don't want to do this. Oh, you see how gross this is.
Yeah.
That's the thing. What I wonder is if we can take this off somehow. But it doesn't look like it actually. This seems riveted or something. No screws. I mean, this is something else that a professional channel would do that I will not do, because then they grind out these beveled edges so they can remove the stuff, and I will not do it. I do not really have the equipment for something like that. So I wouldn't know how it works, and it would be too much work. I will just slather this over the over all of the dirt. But I still want to get this part off.
Yeah, this is really giving you a little trouble, right?
This is very seasoned wood and a very seasoned screw, I must say.
Yeah.
I will first get a hammer to knock this one out, and I hope that I can get this off. And then I will try to pry this off. It's nice here, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I just broke a perfectly good board. Yes.
Oh,
I
okay.
did. Oh. I think this has been in there for some time.
Yeah, it looks like it might have.
Mm.
Maybe the wood's swelled as well, making it even harder.
Yes. Okay, let's first remove everything we can remove. Actually. Hmm.
Wow.
Not a great looking screw.
Yeah, it's
Salvageable, but what for?
bent screw.
I mean, I really need to get this off because I want this bolt because that's where this is the movable part that determines how thick your slices will be. Oh, and there are some. This is where the clamp was attached. So there
I
are
see.
still the screw holes. No, actually, this is where this was attached. I will try to save those screws. Those nuts. Ah! These interns. If you ever see a screw that looks like that, then throw it away and buy a new one. There's plenty of time to save the world later. And to save every bit of crap. There's actually no time at all to save the world later, but still,
Yeah.
cleaning those screws will be more. Could damage the environment more than buying new ones, I think. Because this is where any professional channel would bring out the big buckets of evaporust or whatever. So,
Oh, bolts! Wow.
Ugh. I think I saw my grandmother actually using something like that. And of course, like anything outdated that doesn't work, probably they're back in fashion. There's a Swedish company, I think, that makes those things.
Yeah, because now you get the electronic.
No, they're still. I mean, for people who do not want the electronic ones. I mean, if you want my take on bread slices, buy a bread knife. For a start, they do not have any frustrating screws. And no frustrating nuts. Okay, this is a square 8mm nuts. I have a box of those. I do not need to save this one. One reason I would like to get this bolt out is that then I could just pry this off. But it doesn't work as long as the bolt is in the way.
That looks firmly entombed.
Yes, and if nothing else worked, then I need to get a saw and saw this off. But
It's not moving.
talked about the bone in my legs. They have moved quite a bit. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
they're still in one piece. So it would be great if you could get this away first. Because I could cut in with the saw here, but I do not want to break my saw on this piece. But I don't want to use this one as a level because this was it's one of my favorite tools, so I will look for something else I can use as a level. I think this is one of the few things where gender still applies, because I've never met a woman who said, "Oh, that's my favorite screwdriver."
I'm sure there is. Oh, wow. Here you go. Popped off.
And now, yes, that probably is. I don't know that many women or people. I mean,
That looks really, really encrusted in there.
yes, I can either saw this off now at the risk of damaging the blade. On the other hand, I do not have to use the circular saw, I can just use a handsaw. I could, of course, spend 35 cents and buy another one, but we'll delay this video. So let's see if we can get this out somehow. Oops, not set up for saw. Usually you would plug this in somehow. But my workbench is somewhere. I guess I will have to clamp this in afterward. This is not supposed to be a Japanese saw. Usually you would pull and push. Ouch, I'm breaking a saw. So I've cut two here already. Is this already enough? No, I will just make a second cut so that the whole piece comes off. Maybe not the best saw or the best handyman. I mean, this is something professional channels get right, because they will not pluck out any saw and have a go. They will look for the proper tool.
Yeah.
Here where my small handsaw is. In there. You can already break this off. No, I mean, one thing I have to admit about this wood is it's really hard.
Yeah, what wood do you think that is? The oak or?
Probably. We're German. We like oak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably. It's the other one that's not oak. No, but this is pretty hard. This is. So I guess this will be oak. Nope. I have decided I want to keep my face. What I'm trying to do with very limited success is to saw this out so that the hole opens.
Yeah, so you can pop it out, right?
Right. But this piece of wood is not yet ready to give in.
Aha!
So let's see if my great plan pays off. Because right now the screw is not making any. Careful that I do not damage the one of the stupid house owners, and if I break it, I have to pay for it. Wow. I mean, there's barely anything of the wood left, and it still will not budge. What do we do? Violence. I was taught back in school that violence doesn't work, which is almost always untrue, but in this case. Try to see if I can saw in there a bit more. At least this makes the video longer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that we have to step some people, which almost the first minute. I don't know. Maybe I will really just buy another one. But this is, by the way, not my favorite screwdriver. So.
Okay. Not the famous one.
No, that's. This is, I know, it's probably magic. When the universe dies inevitable heat death, then the screw will be left.
Yeah. A couple of cockroaches.
Linchpin for. I'm not sure about cockroaches. I know what. I think I have something like that. By now I have banked this up so thoroughly.
Yeah.
It's probably not usable anymore. So I like this one because it brought me safely to the outside. This is the kit I use when I go motorbiking. can't vouch for any other motorbikes, but apart from taking off wheels, this is basically everything you need to repair a BMW F65. So, the idea is this will also need cleaning, but later. The story of the four fingers. No, that was Lord of the Rings. Rings of Power. You said it wasn't worth watching, was it?
Yeah, no. I would give it a miss if I was you. I'd do Has the Dragon instead. I hear that's doing really good.
I think I was such a fan of Game of Thrones.
Oh, of course. That wasn't your thing then.
I watched it because of the wife.
Oh, this is a rather nice colour. So this isn't obviously colour, right? This is just paint. Oh, dear. So this will strip the paint, the existing paint, right? So will it eat through it or dissolve it, or?
It will not completely dissolve it. That would be nice, but it won't. But we'll loosen it up so you can spray it.
And then afterwards you scrape it off, or?
Exactly. I'm actually not sure how much this will do at all. Because sometimes with very old paint this doesn't work very well. But I know that it's not very good for skin.
You can imagine.
But this is, I mean, this stuff, you know, these are somewhat delicate parts. I do not want to send this off.
You're putting quite a conservative amount on there. Right? You're not slathering it.
Oh, it's because I don't want it to fall down. This right now, I probably should be more generous. Yes. Maybe that's why it hasn't worked in the past, because I had a metal cabinet. I still have a metal cabinet from the 40s, and I used 6 coats of this stuff and used the sender for 1 year, and then eventually I gave up. Just gave it to a professional shop where it now sits for almost half a year. I hope that someday I might get it back. I mean, professional shop, somebody I found on my own. Probably not quite the same as a professional job. But we had arrived at the point where my neighbors threatened to kill me if I continue run a sender on the balcony.
You tested your relationship with the neighbours there.
I mean, they used to look quite favorably on me because my wife was always here, I was always here, which meant I could always take their parcels and packages. That will need a bit of sanding because this is good to get paint, but not against rust. So the rust will not come off. But cannot wrap. So it says on the tin that you're supposed to wrap it so that the stuff does not evaporate. So that it keeps fresh, so to speak. And now usually you would disassemble all of this, and I won't. Because I'm not. Try to scrape off a bit of the dirt first. This is probably the rest of someone's bread from 50 years ago.
Mm.
It reminds me a bit of KitchenAid machines when you take them apart.
Yeah.
Another thing that professional restoration channels have is a parts washer, which is just a tub that recycles water so you can use it again and again to clean your stuff. It also means that any detergent or chemicals you use for cleaning do not go right into the sink. I mean, I really would like to take this off, but I don't think it's possible. Because this is... Yeah, there's a little cleaning towels stuff. Okay. And this is not good for the environment at all. This is brake cleaner.
Brake cleaner.
Cleans most things. Can also be used to clean life of this planet because this is toxic. You're not supposed to get this into running water.
Right.
This will kill insects and everything. Everything that hasn't come off now will come off when I remove the paint. And,
I have a question. Was this painted red at one point?
The letters were painted red, and
okay.
this circle, this is the company logo, and there was a red edge here around, but the rest was always. I'm not sure how much point there is in cleaning the inside. You know what I especially hate about professional restoration channels? When they remove some dirt, first they will go in with the camera and show you 5 minutes close-ups of the fucking dirt to show how professional they are in removing it. And it's dirt. I don't need close-ups of dirt. I'm really an old man, am I?
Yeah, well,
except that ranting about gender, I rant about.
Yeah.
I think that's still better than ranting about gender, to be true.
Yeah. Less risky.
Upset. I don't see point in ranting about gender because I'm generally supportive.
Yeah, I mean, be what you want, right? No business.
Yes,
no business of ours.
You know, I was like you, I grew up in a time when this was science fiction, and Samuel Delaney and Triton, people changed the gender.
Mm-hmm.
Eike meant change sex, not gender.
That was exciting. And today you can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, not. I mean, your physical gender too. No, it was a bit more of a pleasure activity.
Yeah.
This is the one point that drives me up with those people who, rant about gender and how can we have the stuff from the 50s. I mean, science fiction is supposed to be about the future.
Yes.
And then you have people who come and go, oh, the future does look different than the past. We don't want any of that.
Yeah.
And then I'm not sure what's the point in having science fiction. That was my rant about.
My favourite is all the science fiction things that I used to watch in the 80s and 90s. They're all set in the year 2000. So it's interesting to see where we are.
Yeah. Well, it's 1999 and the moon is still there. So that's
Yeah. Well, the Autobots and Decepticons are not waging a war, which was 2005. So
yeah.
we
And we missed the eugenics wars.
Yeah.
Well, and Star Wars was a long, long time ago.
Yeah, in a galaxy far, far away. That's a really genius way of getting out of having to stick to any timeline.
Yeah, except that they smuggled in E.T. somewhere and some.
Yeah,
now-
and Spielberg and Lucas playing a little joke with each other.
Yeah.
And in E.T., fun fact, when he sees, what's his name, Elliot, wearing a Yoda mask, first thing he says is home. So there you are. There's a little Easter egg there in both E.T. and the I think it's is it the Phantom Menace where you see the E.T. creatures at the.
Apparently, there's an R2D2 in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh yeah, the hieroglyphs. Yeah, the C-3PO and R2D2. Yeah. Best not to read too much into it.
No, it was supposed to be fun, I think.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think they exist in the same
No,
universe.
it's 47 hours of YouTube commentary. I frankly think that's it for the
Okay. So we let this bake, right?
This bake and try tomorrow. Just a little bit.
Very good.
And then I will try to clean this later without cutting off any of my fingers.
Yeah, be careful with that. Looks like kind of a James Bond thing going on there, right? You put it in a top hat, in a bowler hat. Sorry.
Yeah, it's racist today. We can't do this anymore. I mean, not the hat, but the person wearing it.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
even though this is my favorite screwdriver, I could probably clean it once in a while.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
But then it's a tool. Tools are there's no need to. Restoration channels.
Yeah.
There's no need for tools.
Yeah.
There's one funny thing. There's one the gear show or something like that, and he restores tools that he then doesn't use, and the only tool he does regularly use, which is an impact driver to unscrew the things he restores. That's the only tool he never restores.
Right.
Which should teach you a lesson. A tool that is in use does not need to be pretty or anything.
Yeah, true.
So,
All right. There we go.
yes, ranted enough. Switch
Yeah.
this off. I will go.